The following announcement has been paid for by the Celtic World Order.
Hello there. Good morning. It's a great morning. And welcome back once again to Celtic World Order. As always, I am Steve O'Matt, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joined by my bearded brother, the OG, my best man, my right-hand man, Paddy Boy. Mate, you'll be buzzing. I saw you jumped on last night for a wee chitter-chatter about the game. You look forward to talking it all over again.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm surprised I've still got a voice after yesterday as well, because the amount of singing and screaming and everything we done at that game was absolute madness. But yeah, buzzing to go over it with you, mate. It's class.
Absolutely. It was a fantastic performance, it was, and we'll get round to every single thing, as we says on the thumbnail in the chat. It's the calm and the comedy after the storm, because not only was that a performance that hammered home that Celtic are the dominant force in not only Glasgow but Scottish football, but it's also a result that's had a very tangible effect on those affected, most notably the Rangers players, the Rangers manager, and indeed the Rangers fans, as we saw things turning a little bit sour back at their stadium. Is the mood music changing over there? Is there thunder in, well, it ain't paradise, but thunder somewhere in Glasgow? We'll get round to that. But before we do, as we say, welcome back to every single one of you for taking the time out at this early hour in the morning to join us and get some Celtic content into your lives. If you're new to the channel, very much welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, then again, we always say it, thank you very much for the continued custom, if you will, because this is what keeps it going. You are the ones that are holding us together, and the sole purpose is no point in us being here if there's nobody to talk to. If you want to help us out, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the bell icon. Every time we go live, every time we upload a video, you'll get notified and you miss nothing. You can also share it out. It helps get more people in. And if you want to help out, you can donate to the channel by way of membership. Completely optional, 100% optional. Everything that we do here is 100% free. It'll cost you nothing. It just helps with running with the overheads, and as we say, in due course, that will also be wheeling its way back to yourselves. So if you want to do that, knock yourself out. And someone that has done that is the original. It's 420 somewhere. Welcome to yourself, the OG member there. And there's a few of you starting to stream in, so welcome. Finally, we're on X at CW Pod 1888. And there's lots of good stuff on there as well. So as we say, let's get ourselves down to business. And Celtic get themselves right down to business, Paddy, yesterday, didn't they? You know, you can see the smile on my face, and people will be asking, you know, how do you feel about that one? Well, I'll get around to it, but if I'm being honest, I'd rather show you how am I feeling. That's how I'm feeling. It was very, very enjoyable indeed. So anyway, yeah, Paddy, you've spoke about it. I'm going to ask you again, but I'm going to pick away at the finer details, because I know that it's a lot to do it out on your own and getting out there, and you've got a million thoughts swirling, and you need that instant replies, you need that back and forward. And I thought I very much agreed with everything that you had to say, to be honest, mate. I did, but you were there in living colour, in person, in the stadium. Let's start it off, just kick it off at the beginning, mate. How was your day in the flesh, seeing it all go down?
Oh, mate, unbelievable. We started off down at the Gallagate, got dropped off there, had a couple of pints, and then headed up towards the stadium. You could tell straight away heading up that everybody was optimistic. The noise going in, things like that. It was beautiful. Got in there. Everybody's in full voice. Everybody's quite quietly confident. Me, as always, I'm like, what are you talking about? We're going to scud them. We're going to melt them. It's going to be easy. And yeah, mate, honestly, what an atmosphere. What an absolute day. It was incredible. As you said, from start to finish. When the team lineup came out, I commented on the team lineup last night as well. It was as expected, wasn't it?
Yes.
You could have picked that straight out. I didn't think any of the new boys would go straight in there. But then obviously later on, it was nice to see them make a cameo appearance.
No, that's, you know, we sat here, we spoke about it. yesterday morning before the game. Obviously, I came on with Terry, and also, once again, thank you very much to Terry for taking his time out his morning on a big match day to come and sit and talk about the game. Absolutely greatly appreciate it, and hopefully you all enjoyed hearing Terry's input. More importantly, I hope that once the game was done, that, as I say, you went over and you checked him out doing his thing, doing his post-match analysis on the Boise bus, and I caught some of that. Terry, there he is. Thank you. And I've got to say, mate, I fully agree with everything he says. And some of your predictions that you said on this show in the morning came through. Fantastic. Yep, the lineup, we had a wee chat about it, Terry and I, yourself as well. And I think the only real question mark, if you wanted to go with that, was it going to be Forrest or was it going to be Kuhn? We always knew that Palmer was going to be largely out the picture when it came to that sort of attacking option. He's not shown enough. He's never been at the level that's been required so far. Forrest has the versatility where he could go left or right. Obviously, as we well know, is at the same time. Kuhn he came back for a wee bit of an injury, had a wee bit of a layoff before his last game, so there was question marks. Would he be fully fit? Nope, he opted to go with him. And I think probably it was the right option, wasn't it? Because one thing that I took away from that game that I've been super impressed with. Now, there was a lot of people that were not necessarily doubting, but there was a lot of people saying the resurgence of Kuhn was, as we like to say, take it at face value. It's only been a few games. He kicked it off. He started it off bright and early in pre-season. He's obviously been buying what the manager's been selling. He's got himself fitter. He's got himself stronger. He's shown a lot more purpose. He's, as you say, mixing it up, hitting for the byline, still finding those passes, cutting in. And he had absolutely everything again. It was great to see him putting in a performance that was due in that, because the one sample that he did have, he didn't quite get it. But now we maybe know why that was the case. But that side in particular, the right-hand side, was a constant thorn. We always talk about Maeda and Captain Tav, but the constant overload in the box, the overlapping runs, Johnson and Kuhn, that connection, mate, that's in fire. That is really cooking down that side, isn't it?
The chemistry between the two is frightening. You see it every time the ball goes into Kuhn. Johnson knows straight away, and you can see him just bombing past him. And that's terrible if you're a defender. If you're trying to defend against that, somebody with the technical ability of Kuhn, because you know he can take you to the byline, he can take you inside. He's really good, both-footed. So as Johnson's overlapping, then Kuhn's got the option, obviously, to play him in or take the ball down to the left, cut inside, and then put a ball into the box. And I just thought the Rangers' defence couldn't handle it. I don't think anybody will be able to handle that, to be honest, because the two of them can shift. AJ, you see him, he gets the afterburners on and he just goes. It's an absolute joy to watch. And like you said, he's come on to something of a real standout for me. He's actually, like you say there as well, he's bought into what the manager's selling. And for me, he's going to be a standout player for us this season. He's like a new signing, isn't he?
I know, and we hate that phrase, but it's true, because talking about rejuvenated, we've spoken about the manager all through the course of the pre-season and before, that one thing that he is great at doing, once it clicks, once what he's trying to sell, they buy into it and it clicks in their head, he's got a great track record of converting players, turning players round, making them something that wee bit more, as we say. Don't need to bore you. You know the names, but Scott Brown, a guy that was supposed to be on the road out, you know what I mean? Sitting steaming, drinking kebabs, getting voted. Armstrong, Tierney, a resurgence of the form of Forrest, which has again happened so far. We're seeing a second coming. Peak James Forrest under Rodgers as well the first time around. It's it's really, really positive. If we bring it back, we knew our lineup. It was very, very familiar. It was the status quo remained. There was obviously going to be questions, and they were answered. Were we going to bring on some of these new guys? Well, yeah, we did eventually. We were never going to start them. I don't think we had to start them. I think that's safe to say. And we eventually brought them on. When you looked at our bench, though, literally overnight, it's went to going, aye, that's there's threats all over that bench. What a step up in quality. And it was almost like a flex by Celtic and Brendan Rodgers, was it not? To have near enough £30 million of talent just sitting on the bench, just in case. Yeah,
looking at that's what I've been waiting for on this show, we've been calling for it, Steve, taking off a player and bringing on somebody of the same quality or similar quality or better even. You don't know yet what these players are going to bring, but looking at that yesterday, yeah, I was chuffed to bits. It was nice to see a bench where it didn't include the likes of Mikey Johnson and Tomoki Awata, and no offence to the guys, but yeah, it was a step up. Do you know what I mean? It was nice to see, and that's something that I feel we've been waiting on. So yeah, like you said, the flex for Brendan going, yeah, look at what we've got sitting there.
Phenomenal, mate.
Class, mate.
Phenomenal. Just so reassuring. We've got confidence in our manager. We've got confidence in the way that we're playing. We've continued that on. Bar losing a goal in a cup game. It's clean sheets all round, and it's goals all round as well. You said 4 because this is going to be, write it down, right? What we might do from now on actually is I'm going to start tallying up a wee scorecard. Every time he says 4-0, I'm going to know if he's right or wrong. By the end of the season, we'll see how many Paddy results were right, just for fun. I've
got one so far, the Kelly game. We won 4-0 in the Kelly game, so I've got one
there
up
you
so
go, right?
far.
So you're one up so far, not too bad, but you'll continue to do that. but no, our lineup, as we say, is fantastic, really reassuring. Looking at that bench, just, yeah, knowing that you've got quality, knowing that you can bring them on. The way that we're playing, as we say, we didn't have to. They will be naturally bled into the team. They'll naturally get the minutes, they'll get the familiarity, and then we'll start to kick on. Now let's look at Rangers just for 1 second, because they did offer many debuts to mixed results. It was Yefty and Proper down that left-hand side, who I felt both, and particularly Yefty, or my name is Jeff, had an absolute stinker. He was getting tormented with those overlaps. Kuhn and I was going to say Anthony Johnson and Johnston had him right where they wanted him. He must be having nightmares. Both left and right backs at the end of that, they must have had that bloody well sleepless night and flashbacks. You know, they have some sort of football PTSD, I think, with the end of that. They were absolutely tormented. It was relentless. They also brought in Connor Barron, Valklav Cherny as well. 4 guys in the team. That was really for necessity with them, Paddy. And as I says, well, it was to mix results, wasn't it?
Yeah, the thing is, the boy Cherny, he's the superstar, isn't he? He's the boy that they've been relying on over the coming weeks here. He's the guy that they've been turning to. And do you know what? He's a decent enough player. Yesterday, Greg Taylor, Liam Scales, we've gave them stick on here, Steve, but do you know what?
Exactly.
Absolutely outstanding, mate. Absolutely outstanding. The two of them were solid as a rock. And they nullified him. They gave him absolutely nothing. Every time he got the ball, they were on him. It was away for him. The guy, like you said, my name's Jeff, coming up the wing, he offered nothing either.
Nothing.
He couldn't get away for Kuhn, never mind Alistair Johnson. Yeah, the guy Proper. You pointed out before that we sold our 4th choice defender. Yeah, we sold our 4th choice defender to the team to replace him. So that just tells you what kind of standard he's at. And you can just tell the Rangers fans aren't obviously happy with it by their reaction last night.
Yeah. No, mate, as we say, absolutely. I'm thrilled. We'll get on to the game. We'll go on to action. Just still on the crest of a wave, on cloud 9. What a way to stamp early authority. And as we say, we'll get around to it because this is resonating. This is absolutely resonating, not just from ourselves, from a positivity standpoint and kicking on. It's reverberating all the way through into the media, into the pundits, into their manager, into their fan base, into their players who looked like beating men on the park. I know he always comes in because he's the easy go-to, but Captain Tav, he was cutting a defeated figure if ever I saw one. Multiple times where he was just giving up the ghost. He was by and he couldn't be bothered trying back. It was and just dead in his feet. He might have well have just got out a flag, big white flag, and started waving it about. That's the effect, mate, that we are having on this side. Even with new guys in the team, fresh blood, they are still dead in their feet, a flash in the pan, and then it's once we do what we do and we get on the swing of things, we always say, we're going to do what we're going to do. Can you live with it?
Yeah, and the answer simply to that is no, they can't. You pointed out Tav, and after one of the goals, you see who was it? Proper goes over and he gets a hold of Tav, and he's kind of like, right, come on here, and you see Tav, his head's down. This is supposed to be your captain. Could you see Callum McGregor doing that? If we can see the goal, if we can see the goal, Callum's going to be like, right, guys, get your asses into the middle of the park here. We start again. This is what we do. He would drive the players on. His head went down. He knew straight away what the outcome of that game was going to be after 15 minutes. And, mate, it's an absolute joy to watch, especially now, because the carnage that it's causing at their stadium and at the other side of Glasgow is beautiful.
It's cutting a massive divide. If it was a surface scratch of pain for the last season, it's now turning into a gaping wound. I think at this moment in time, it's very early. Listen, we'll caveat that, bring it back. It's 5 points ahead in the league. Yes. It's a great lead. It's a very, very dominant lead at any stage. We've seen last season, peaks and troughs. Leads are not there to be taken for granted. And I don't think this Celtic side will. I think there was a lot of transitional thinking last season. There was a wee bit of discontent, as we know. The manager was looking for quality. There was a lot of crosswords. And as I say, I thought that maybe that eroded some of the buy-in that he'd got for the players the first season round. That's never going to happen this time. There's a real connect. There's a real unity on the pitch, off the pitch, between the players, between the management team, and more importantly, between the fans. I don't see that happening. However, 5 points ahead, it actually cements them into a fourth place, because remember, there's Dundee United 1 point ahead of them. There's also Rangers joint with ourselves, albeit for the goal difference. Massive. You've muted yourself off, mate. You have muted yourself, and I'm going to demute you. You're back.
Sorry, you said Rangers sitting joint goal difference. Aberdeen sitting joint goal difference.
Oh, sorry. Aye. How foolish of me. No. Yeah, so in fourth, right? And again, early in the season. But one thing is, you don't get time. You don't get time in Glasgow. You don't get time in Scottish football. And more importantly, if you're Celtic or Rangers, you don't get time when you have had multiple goes at defeating your rivals and failing to do it. And that's what they're continuing to do, Paddy. They're failing time and time again, over and over, and the same thing is happening. So anyway, mate, let's dive into some of the action. In terms of the start, I think you touched that there. And they started off range. I was quite surprised. I'm very, very surprised at how the game started out, because Rangers came out and they were quite intense, fast out the traps. For the opening 10 minutes, yes, we heard it for their own manager, though. It was the best 10 minutes. Cup, get that one, get that into the trophy cabinet. Apparently that's worth something these days, but he had...
Put that with a moral victory one.
Put it with a moral victory. And the best 10 minutes and the best two chances that were actually offside. Cup, get the one in there. It was actually a treble. It was a 10-minute treble. So, but no, they started off quite surprisingly. Now, when I spoke to Terry in the morning, I asked the question, how are they going to play this one? What's their tact going to be? They've tried at home and away. They've tried sitting in, soaking up, and try counters. They've tried that to mix results. When they've done it at Ibrox, they get goals, right? However, this time, they've also tried and failed previously front foot, forward thinking, and that's what they've done here. Got in their faces, high presses, tense, quick, but essentially it was a high line. Were you surprised that at Celtic Park, 60,000 ourselves, with the attacking prowess that we've got, that we've shown, with the amount of goals that were scored throughout pre-season, that they would do something like that?
It just shows the audacity of the club that they're in, mate. To play a high line like that against us, if anybody does it, they're going to get the same outcome. The speed that we've got on the break, you've spoken about it on here previously as well, is that 4 passes, bang, 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 and we're on the attack. And I thought our centre-backs and our keeper, although they were doing the high press, they were all right. They were comfortable with the ball at their feet. Kasper Schmeichels was playing like a centre-half. He's so comfortable with the ball at his feet. The passes and the vision that guy's got is unreal. There's times where Dessers is running in on him and he just chips it over him out to the wing to Kuhn, and He's just passing the ball about between them. And the movement in the midfield as well, giving them the option of the pass in there. It was brilliant. And that nullified what they were trying to do. Is they were trying to overpower us in the midfield part, push us on, and then obviously do the high press. Like you said, if any team is willing to come to Parkhead, and I include the European teams in this as well, if you're willing to come to Parkhead and play a high line like that, you're going to get caught out.
Yep.
Look at the speed of Dyson Maeda. Kyogo's got a fair turn of pace as well, and so is Kuhn. So that's absolutely going to demolish teams.
Mate, I think it's true. And look, again, Europeans, different gravy. But the signs are promising. You can only go on the signs. I can safely say at this moment in time, albeit so early on in the season, I don't feel that we've ever, even Ange Ball, the question come up here, is Brendan playing Ange Ball better than Ange ever does? And folk don't like we're talking about Postecoglou or previous managers. They just don't like it. But let's do that in contrast, just to touch on that point there. Pinball, cheers for watching, mate. He's playing Brendan Ball. He's playing the Celtic way. He's playing whatever you want to call it. But it's an evolution to where we've been. The football's getting better. The football's getting slicker. And everybody knows what they should be doing. I contrast it to Ange Ball, if you will. Ange Ball was very direct. It was very quick. I'm not going to slate it, but it had, for me at least, a relative one-dimensional approach. And it was, as you say, plan A is plan A, plan B is plan B, plan A if it's not working, and plan C is plan A. If plan A and plan A didn't work the first time, try it again. And what I mean by that is we're still getting forward. We're still making these incisive passes. However, look at the off-the-ball movement. It's relentless. You've got guys cutting round the back of defenders, constantly on the move. Everybody, it's not just about the movement going forward with the ball. It's when you don't have the ball. See the amount of times you saw guys that are constantly on the move, picking up different positions to make themselves available. That's the secret that's going to work, and that's the secret that could help us in Europe, because I think we've always been very much focused, almost one-directional, in that we focus on who's got the ball. Yeah, you've got a couple of bits of movement where you're looking for the pass and making yourself available, but not to the extent that we're doing it now. And when you step up to Europe, when you step up to those bigger games, that's something that comes in that is really vital. You've got to have that level of intelligence, the positional awareness, making the spaces, constantly on the move, keeping the opponents guessing, even when you don't have the ball. The players that are off the ball are just as important as the ones that are on it. And that, for me, is the transition, mate.
100%. Ange Ball was, as you say, it was all about the high press. We were doing the high press to teams. We were coming in there and you're winning the ball back and constant, all go. The Brendan side, look back at the invincible season that we had. We changed formation halfway through a season during that as well, in order to overcome some obstacles and stuff that we had in the squad. You touched on there as well, the players moving out of position. Now, we've been calling out on it a few times, and I said about Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor yesterday, mate, absolutely phenomenal. He was cutting in the middle of the park, and as he did come into the middle of the park, we went to a back three. Scales come over to the left, Carter Vickers just went right straight into the centre again, and Johnson on the right. And we played a back three with Taylor helping in the middle of the park.
And that overloads there, as Pinball says.
That's it. It overloaded it in there, mate, and it was absolutely brilliant. And like I said, I've been on here previous times saying, Greg Taylor's out in the right wing, he's out in the centre of the park. I noticed it last night, and I thought, you know what? I've totally missed this. I've been away from this, and maybe being at the game helped that. Sitting there watching it, not just as an armchair fan watching it on the TV, watching it at the game and seeing what he was doing, what the movement was, and all of the players, they knew what they had to do. They were all focused in on their job, but yet they were still working as a team as well. And it was, mate, it was class. It was absolutely brilliant to see. And when players moved into different positions, somebody else would just drop back into the slot where they were, and it was just absolute class. And that's what Brendan Ball is for me, mate, is everybody knowing what they've got to do and being able to change formation.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's the fluidity. It's seamless. Everything's just happening, and it's natural. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel contrived. Everything is happening. It's ticking, and it's happening naturally. They really, really know what they've got to do. Every single player on that pitch knows their job. Now, we says coming back to the tactics, coming back to the contrast, us versus them. We know our football, we know what we're going to do. Can you deal with it? We were questioning, we spoke about the midfield, and we says our midfield are more ball players. Usually they would staunch it. They would try and, big lumberjacks in the centre, like say your Jack, your Lundstroms and that. There's been a slight transition in their midfield personnel. They aren't the towering monsters that they once were. It's Diamande, it's Barron, wee slight guys, tenacious at times, but slight. So I think that physicality battle was out the question. However, they did throw in big Dijon Serlin, who again I think is a decent player. I think he's one of their better players. He's just unfortunate that he's surrounded by a plethora of guff. But in terms of initially, their first thought was get on top of us and try and press us and try and do what we do. But did it surprise you? And was it maybe even a sad indictment? And I say quite embarrassing, if you will, that one of their main tactics was just grab hold of Cal, physically grab hold of Cal McGregor. Every time he walks, you follow him around like a puppy following its owner and keep holding him. That, for me, understand you've got to identify key players and you've got to hone in them, particularly a guy like McGregor, who's known for orchestrating the football and basically pulling the strings. I get that. But do you think that just shows their, how do I say it, their lack of actual appreciation for the amount of quality we've got and the quality of McGregor, because they tried like a bear, pun intended, to keep hold of him. But it never worked. But even by doing that, when he wasn't on it, there was that much quality. They forgot about the amount of quality around them. They wouldn't have mattered if they bloody well put one of the yellow wheel braces on to McGregor, because it still wouldn't have made a difference.
Not at all. Callum's the ultimate professional, and he's had this several times in his career, especially against them. They try and nullify him. You could have had 10 men marking Callum yesterday, and he'd still have made space every time he got the ball. The movement,
you could find space in a phone box. Unbelievable.
He could.
And that's the thing.
He could. It was absolutely brilliant. And like you see, you touched on the other players there as well. And the guys in the chat have Bernardo alongside him. Wow.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, we've been talking a lot about the tactics and about the players. Let's talk about the action. Rangers did their 10-minute, give them their trophies, give them their treble. The two best chances in 10 minutes that actually were offside. Just so you know, Philippe, they were offside. It wouldn't have mattered if they went in or not. Fair play, they were offside. And also the high press. They tried that. For me, I actually think the way I would compare it is the Celtic were like Floyd Mayweather. See if you ever watch Floyd Mayweather fighting. He does this thing where he gives the opponent, or at least he perceives to give the opponent, 2 or 3 rounds. He doesn't really do much. He just sits there. He lets them do what they're doing, throw a million punches. He just rolls them. He never gets hit. And he's sussing out how you're going to play. And then see for round 4, goes like that and he turns on, I've got you sussed. Kill shot. That's what Celtic done for me. They almost allowed it to happen. They allowed Rangers to come on to them. Right, this is what they're going to do. Now, don't get me wrong, they had those 2 chances. There was the first one, of course, which was Dessers. And they also had the header from Matondo. Turns out both of them were offside, right? On paper, though, good chances. And I wouldn't say concerning. It was more frustrating that they even got the purchase and found the space, albeit offside, that they were at early on, because Celtic, as I say, were rolling with the punches, letting Rangers come out, see what they've got. They could have been potentially could have been damaged by that happening. It went our way, nothing happened. But even so, let's just say one of those or both the chances were offset on, and they scored at least one of them. Seeing the fullness of that game, and even for an early stage, when it was still nothing each when we started to come into it, I never ever felt at any stage that had Rangers scored, that it would have had the same effect on us that it did on them. I always felt that for the entirety of that game, we were in 3rd, occasionally taking into 4th gear, but with 5th and 6th, and then we had overdrive sitting there as well, if we needed it.
Yeah, 100%. Watching it, we touched on it again as well and said about the heads going down. If they'd have scored first, Callum would have rejuvenated the players. They would have got the players in there and got them back in the game and made us push on, because that's what we do. These guys, no offence, they're used to losing. They're serial losers. We've said it on here so many times. They don't have the energy, the boost. They don't have anything to do that. And as Pinball says here, mate, we didn't look flustered. Didn't look flustered at any point in the game, even towards the end when they had chances and stuff. You still felt like it was just always going to be our day. It was easy, wasn't it? It was just...
It was incredibly easy, as we say. We didn't look flustered, as I described it. We were like Floyd Mayweather. We sat there, we let them come on at us. We were sussing them out, and we took it. So it was very, very quickly that turnaround, that flick of the switch. Once we'd sussed out what they were doing, poetry in motion came about, because the quick breaks were coming in, and the first really good chance, we had the goal cut off, obviously. We had the goal cut off, great break, ball comes down, it's super sharp, out to Nicholas Kuhn. He's charging, he's doing what he's been doing all season, pre-season, drives into the box, he gets that square ball across, Kyogo taps it in, and we're ecstatic. We're like, yes, what a start. Inside 10 minutes, thereabouts, the ball's in the back of the net, this is it, kicking on. How did it look in the stadium for you? And then we get it called back, and we saw the VAR, and it's offside. Now, look, the technology, whatever, calibration, I'm just going to take it at face value. It doesn't matter now and say, right, okay, it's offside. However, being honest with you, looking at those lines getting drawn on or whatever they do, to coin a phrase that Mel Mann says, it must have been a midge's ball here, because we're talking, 1, 2, 3 millimetre, because even with those lines drawn, I genuinely still couldn't really see the supposed offside.
Yeah.
Couldn't see it.
I was in area 116, mate, behind the goals, quite high up, so we got a good vantage point. And looking down on it as it's happening, I thought he's onside. Like you said, for where I'm sitting, it's hard. If I was sitting in the middle of the park looking out on it and you've got a good view, then yeah, it's different. But for where I was sitting, we all thought he was onside. We thought the offside was going to be for Kyogo. We thought Kuhn had maybe played it slightly earlier and towards him, but obviously watching that back, there's no way.
He's well behind. He's behind the ball.
So he's well behind him. So I've had a look now. Obviously, I said last night on the chat that I hadn't seen the freeze frames. Essentially, I've went on and I've had a look at the one, and the camera seems to be here, and the players are here, so that they're kind of looking at it for that vantage point. And if you think back to the time when Jota scored the absolute screamer against them as well, it was the same situation. They showed the offside from a different angle, and they saw this is the angle that we've got to go on, and it did go. It proved that one was actually a goal. That would have been goal of the season if we'd have got that Jota goal. And they need to get this sorted. We've spoke about VAR, and you know what? There's a lot of good things happening with it.
Again, just to jump in for
going, things like that.
With the comments coming in, I'm a lot of mixed reactions. I didn't actually know this. Obviously, Paddy Boner, he's apparently watching it. Red Scotland says that he'd mentioned and called it always offside instantaneously. He must have been at that centre line vantage point, and he's saying, yep, it was offside. So again, like, if we're going to trust somebody, go trust an ex-player, somebody like Paddy Boner, you're going to have to say, yep, absolutely offside. But it is what it is. But as you say, it just epitomised the way that we want to play. Quick turnarounds. It was 2 passes, mate. 2 passes, and we're in. And what a let-off for them. But even though that goal was called offside, for me, that drained the life out of them. I think at that point they thought, right, shit, this is going to come again. This is going to be another wave.
Yeah, they knew at that point. Normally, they say if you concede a goal and it's chopped off by VAR or something, it can push on the opposition. And that was my fear. I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh no, they're going to come at us now. They're going to get a boost for that. It didn't happen. The heads, as you say, the heads went firmly down. Even though the goal was chopped off, they were like, oh no, this is going to come again and again and again and again. And it certainly did.
What did you think of the Rio chance? Again, brilliant player. And we get to see these overlaps again. Kuhn overlapping Johnson through Maeda, shots blocked, works his fantastic way to just find that pass. He slips it. Rio's at the back post. All he's got to do is tap it in. How does he put that one over the bar?
He's tried to put it into the top right-hand corner, essentially, hasn't he? He's tried to place it up there, and aye, it's a bit of a sitter for him, a bit of a Sibo moment. We love the guy.
Van Vossen, Sibo, there is others.
Van Vossen, Sibo, you name them. Aye, that's it. It was. He deserved a goal as well. He loves a wee goal against them, doesn't he? But
but
it wasn't to be.
It did not matter, did it? Because the goal comes. The goal comes, Paddy. Talk to me. The opening goal goes in. Super Dyson.
Listen, Super Dyson. The ball in towards AJ. Phenomenal. Again, the overlapping, the pace that he comes in at. And that pass, he looks up and he picks it out. I think everybody's looking towards Kyogo. And he's played it behind Kyogo. And obviously Tav standing there again, not a clue where he is on the pitch, and that Dyson is coming in behind him to slot it into the bottom of the net. It's just, it was just one of the goals. An easy goal for a third striker. That's exactly what it is. And how many times have you seen this? How many times have we done this goal? Byline, ball across, bang. Byline, ball across, bang. It's becoming a signature goal. If you score a goal like that on FIFA, it's called a sweaty goal because it's one that's relatively easy to do. You get the ball down the side, pass it in and score. Do you know what I mean? But that's what we're doing.
I spoke about the constant movement and something that was really, and that goal epitomised it. We're coming for a throw.
Yeah.
Throw. And it's Bernardo, Johnson. You watch Bernardo, you watch Kuhn, you watch Johnson. Johnson gets the ball and then he loops right round. He's constantly on the move, looking for the overlap. Kuhn's there, he's making himself a nonsense. You've got Bernardo, so they're going Dagobe Johnson, Dagobe Kuhn. Bernardo, as you say, is that beautiful sweet chip up round the corner. What play, as I say, is epitomising everything that we highlighted earlier on. The constant movement, making the opposition guess, overloading when looking to receive the ball. Bernardo Kuhn sitting there, Johnson taking it straight on the hoof, running around. As he's running round the back, Kuhn's going in centre, so you've got the defender saying, who am I following? And by that point, it's too late. Too late, mate. Brilliant start. Exactly. And I thought composed as well for Maeda, because, again, he's known to sometimes just do the wee soft shot and just pass it, not make a clean connection over the bar as a la Rio. Great start. And, again, it's only going to help his confidence, isn't it? That he's now getting involved in the goals more often. And as we say, particularly if we want him to be more like a pseudo striker, or indeed sometimes an options a striker, well, goals are going to be the one thing that's going to help you out there, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And he put a wee thing on his Instagram as well, saying that he was dedicating it to his wee boy's third birthday, which was yesterday. So happy birthday to Dyson's wee boy yesterday.
Aye.
Yeah.
Did you see the cake? Did you see his boy's cake? A lot of folk were saying, so he had the cake and it was a Japan top and it was a Celtic top, but it was the old Carlin era top. It was the 67 a limited edition one. And folk were saying, bloody hell, where'd they get that cake for 2008? But I think folk forget. I think that's a tribute to Nakamura, because that was a shirt that he very much played in. The Japan shirt, the Celtic shirt. So there we go. Anybody that was confused by Maeda's wee boys.
Celtic World Order have cleared that up for you.
I'm just assuming either that or they just did very old templates at the cake shop.
That's it. Maybe that's what it is. But listen, we've spoken about Dyson before. We know the options that he gives us. We know he's phenomenal. His pace is frightening and it terrifies defenders. And the finishing has always been the part that we're kind of worried about. His end ball was the part that we're worried about. We're starting to see bits here and there that he's obviously working on it. Over the last couple of games and stuff. Now you can see that his finishing's got a lot better and his passing's got a lot better. So for me, mate, that's coming on tenfold. And like you say, he's an option for us for a third striker now.
He really has. For me, I'm never one to not admit when I'm perhaps wrong. And I thought one thing that my criticism was at Maeda, was I thought he was very much relatively one-dimensional, and I says he really lacked technical ability. He lacked a first touch. He lacked composure.
Yeah.
And I says at his age, I don't think that's something that you can coach. You're all the footballer that you're going to be there. The tools that you've got are the tools that you've got. You can make slight tweaks, but I don't think that you can suddenly learn how to trap a ball for, dropping it for 150 feet and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know what it is. Whatever he's been doing with the coaching, it seems to have been working because, yeah, he's still never going to be the best dribbler. He's never going to have twinkle toes. Do you know what I mean? But he just seems so much more composed, a lot more comfortable in the ball. Maybe that's to do with the manager. Maybe it's playing into a system, albeit that he's always just caused carnage out on the left. Maybe he just feels a wee bit more involved in the wider play than just you get the ball and run, mate. And I think maybe he's buying into that as well. So positive to see that. With that goal as well, I did think it was quite funny, but do you think it was fortunate as well? The boy proper, he's having a nightmare. He slips, he's face down. And it was actually I was laughing because he tries to header it and he's on the ground.
He's dive towards it.
It's desperate.
Phil Jones moment.
All he's doing is eating grass, eating dirt, and embarrassing himself further. But look, we crack on. We get the second goal. It's Kyogo. It's it's something of justice for the one that cuts off. Again, it's a fast possession turnover. I just want to highlight that all the way through that first half and continuing in the second half. See the tenacity of the midfielders. Everybody, even Kyogo that we'll get on to later on, everybody was hustling and bustling. If you don't have the ball, how quick can you get the ball back? And it was actually Barron. Barron makes a bad pass. I think it's into Tierney. And the ball's just stole right off him.
Taylor.
Straight into Taylor, yes. Coming in that sort of more midfield position. He picks the ball up and he threads, wow, what a pass. We talk about a pass like that. We had Peter Grant on the other day and we spoke about his similar pass to Cadetti. Very much the same. Big daisy cutter right through. And he takes it and he just cultured. He slots it with the side foot. He essentially just power passes it into the bottom left, the Butland's goal. What a goal, mate. I mean, did you see him? Did you see him, one, taking the shot on at that stage, but two, doing it so casual?
Nonchalant, wasn't it? Like you said, the pass for Greg Taylor was amazing. Really, really great ball in. As Kyogo turns, you see the Rangers defenders proper again, backing off. Do
you know, it's funny because that is what you're saying. The defender backs off. He just throws up a wee bit. The defender does back off. We're charging down. He's looking down the barrel of a gun. He's got us swarming forward. He's isolated. Instead of committing, he backs. He opens up. He actually, rather than just backtracking and staying in line, he drifts over to the left. He literally goes, there, put it there.
There's the goal, aye. And did you see Kyogo's interview as well? With Kyogo says, I looked up and I seen there wasn't a goalkeeper, so I thought I'll have a shot. Okay. There wasn't a goalkeeper. He says in his interview, I couldn't see the goalkeeper, so I just thought I'll put it in the back of the net. And my wife said as well, she says it looks like Butland's taken about 5 working days to actually get across the goal. If you see him like kind of clambering across there, because it wasn't hit with a massive amount of power. It seems to just kind of go in like a nice wee putt, doesn't it? It's just like a wee bump, away you go.
For another sporting comparison, it was a long range putt. He just casually put it with a wee bit of curve on it.
It was nice, very, very nice goal. Straight after that, mate, the stadium was moving. The atmosphere in there after that was just frightening. Just a shame there was no Rangers fans in there to haunt, to shout at and give abuse. But it was a joy, mate. See, after that, it seemed to be, what we always say, you get the goal that late as well, going into half-time, and you think, right, 2-0 at half-time.
It's what, 40, just around the 40-minute marker there, isn't it? It's
40-minute marker, I think it was, mate. So you're thinking, right, we could maybe get another one here before half-time, or we go in at half-time, 2-0, and it's shooty in, isn't it? We've been in that position before, and you think, right, next goal's pivotal. Next goal's the one that's going to be the biggie. And at no point did we feel it was ever going to come for them.
No, and see again, just to come back on that goal, folk will say it's lazy and detracts from the accuracy and the ability to find that goal. I think, just for me, see if that's my goalkeeper, I'm going off my nut. It's a great finish. He manages, as I say, to just curve it away enough that he can't reach it. Butland he's just slightly off centre. He's slightly off centre, but I'm not detracting from it, but I think for me, I'm honest to the fact that, super Butland ain't that super, because I'm actually starting to think that I'm not saying he's a bad keeper. I'm always honest about any player, no matter who they play for. I think he's a good goalkeeper. I do think he has a goalkeeper, but I don't think that he's what they thought he was, which was this invincible, impenetrable goalkeeper wall at the back. He's certainly not that. And that for me summed it right up, mate. Summed it right up.
He conceded 2 30-yarders yesterday. He's conceded against Kyogo for similar distance on other occasions as well. He struggled with the Bernardo shot in the cup final to keep a hold of that. There's a lot of flaws in the guy's game. Listen, he's a good keeper, but like you said, he's not the saviour that they once thought he was.
Okay.
And it's nice to see. It's nice to see them actually crumbling from that position as well.
And mate, they're lucky to get off the hook again. As we said it in the description of this, we'll say that on our X. 3-0 going on 4, going on 5 in that first half. But at this point,
yeah,
2 in the net. We've had 1 cut off by a midge's ball here, and then again they're under siege continually. 43 to 45 minutes after that goal, Suter gets in a good sort of block, but again we're in behind the left-hand side. Yefty, normally as we say, it was Tav, but it was take your pick, left and right. They were useless. It didn't matter which side we decided to go down, we were going to exploit it. And I feel that for all that Maeda has been a thorn in the side, he was focusing more on closing down, winning the ball and moving it inside, whereas more of the attacks were going down the right-hand side simply because of those overloads being far, far more effective between Johnson and Kuhn. And Kuhn was doing the direct route. He was running. I think we realised that, do you know what? We've got the right-hand side on toast, but the toast on the left-hand side's burning. Let's keep going with it. And we get down there, and it's a great ball in. Kyogo is waiting at the back post for a centre touch, tap in. Great block, albeit from a Rangers player, but credit to where it's due. But at this point, they're just stemming the bleeding. They're just trying to stop and get out there without a scratch on them. And mate, let's talk about Bernardo just before the half-time whistle. He dances through. He's just got all the space in the world. He takes it in, beats one, beats a man, beats the same guy again, and he gets a shot. And is it the fact that it's on his left rather than his preferred foot, preferred right? Or is it just does he freeze up in the moment and think, I've just beat 3 guys?
Listen, it was brilliant to see. And Bernardo yesterday, for me, if Callum doesn't score that goal, Bernardo's your man of the match, because he was unbelievable. And I hope this is him pushing on and taking over the Matt O'Reilly role, because yesterday he broke up the play. I don't think he had a misplaced pass. His vision was absolutely frightening. And he was everywhere. He was right across that centre line. He seemed to be everywhere. And like you said, coming in for that chance, beats 1, beats 2, beats the same again. And pops on his left foot. And I think if that's on the right foot, it's right in the top corner, isn't it? For what we've normally seen for him. So, for me, Bernardo, absolute 10 out of 10. You're muted, Steve-O.
Yeah, my bad. I'm trying to mute and mute off, and I'm scrunching up paper now. I don't want you to hear it. So cheers for keeping me right, mate. There, I've just been talking away, and you've missed all the great insight I'm about to offer. No, so we go in. We're 2-0. We're cruising. We know what the mood's going to be in our dressing room. Go in there, do what you've got to do, finish the job. It'd be great to be a fly in the wall in the Rangers dressing room, just for strictly speculation. What do you feel the thoughts are in there? Because bear in mind as well, they lose a guy to injury, they lose Matondo in that first half. Not that he's doing anything, but they've got an injury, they've been forced into a change, they're finding themselves onto a hiding to nothing. What do you think? Do you think they're defeated before they even walk out for that second half?
I said
Do
last
you
night
think
when
they
I was
missed
on
the
as well.
booze? Do you think they missed the booing to maybe G them up a wee bit?
Maybe, yeah. I come on also last night and I pointed it out that there was no Rangers substitutes out training at half time. And I found that so surreal. Like, you seen the Celtic players out there, the Celtic substitutes out there with the coaches going through their drills and stuff like that. And the other half, there was nobody. There was the groundsmen were there, and you could see them kind of looking about as well. Like, where's the players? What's going on here? So obviously, Clement's had every single one of them in that dressing room. Like you said, to have been a fly on the wall in there, I think he would have read the riot act. I think he would have been in there giving it big licks, trying to G them up, trying to get them to actually do something. I don't think as a manager he's anywhere close to what we have, and that's been shown, that's been proven. So we've spoken about it before, dogs chasing caravans and things like that. He'll be in there just shouting at them and giving them abuse, probably not G'ing them up like you want to. With 5 minutes to go at the half-time break, about 3 Rangers substitutes come out to warm up, but the rest come out and sat on the bench.
Yeah.
And there was no coaches with them. There was no coaches with the guys to give them any guidance or anything else. So I don't know what the deal was there, mate, or what happened at half-time, but to me, there doesn't seem to be any team spirit in there. There doesn't seem to be any... They're not gelled. They're nothing like us. We're a team spirit, and you can see that straight through the ground staff all the way right through to the first team. Yeah. Everybody's together in our club. There's nothing like that there.
To wrap up on the sort of second half action, it was more of the same, mate. It's one-way traffic. We pick up where we left off. There's obviously the unfortunate Kyogo miss again. It's you can take that whatever way you want. Is it a bad miss? Is he trying to be cute? Is he full of confidence? Brilliant again. Yefte loses the possession nice and early. You've got 2 on him. You've got Hatate and Bernardo, as I say, hustling, bustling, getting in faces, steal the ball. Hatate with an absolute defence splitter. Suter is behind him. He's not catching him. Butland's starting to tentatively come out. He's not really narrowing the angle. And he tries. I think he wants his Larson moment. He wants his chip. He wants his fancy goal. He wants that sensational moment, perhaps. But for me, with the way that he was playing, with the strike that he scored, he's just got to smash that. He's not even smash it. He's just got to put some power behind it and direct it. I don't think the chip's needed. I can see what he's doing because Butland is slightly off his line, but also because he's off his line, there's big gaps. He really should just be, and that's my only criticism. I'm not being negative. My only slight criticism sometimes is Kyogo's decision making. And he had 2 goals, 1 cut off, of course. Could have done more, and he had a great game. But up until this point, with some missed chances, it's been poor decision making. And I just think for me, it was a slightly poor decision. He should just do his thing, put the foot through the ball, and it's in.
Aye, I said that as well last night when I spoke about it. He should have just foot through the ball and it's a goal. Botton's coming out, he's out of position. There's a big gap there to the left-hand side of him. Kyogo tries to be like Jota, a wee cheeky dink over him there, and it doesn't work. You spoke about, obviously, that positioning as well, Steve, earlier on, just to go back to it, about Kuhn and Dyson giving us the options on the left and the right. And this is the kind of thing that we were screaming for, and we spoke about it before, having Abada and having Jota. Didn't matter what wing we went down, we were causing carnage. And I think that's going to come now. I think we've got that balance. I think we're no longer more reliant on one side. We've got it on both sides now, so that's just going to cause absolute chaos for teams.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap up the first half in general. Raft of changes at some point. We scored the goal at 75. We introduced a few players. Arne Engels comes on for Bernardo. We'll sum him up in short. Absolute astounding performance. A 9, if not 10 on 10. I think that we have really seen a coming to the fore. A watershed moment for Bernardo. Everywhere all over the pitch, tenacity, great vision with the pass, really, really offering something different. Is he a Matt O'Reilly replacement? They're two different players. I'm not going to belittle the impact that O'Reilly had at Celtic. Never, great player, great servant. Would love to have him around. But we're seeing an evolution perhaps now with the midfield, and I thought fantastic. He makes way for Aaron Engels. We get Hatate coming off. We get to see McCown coming on as well. Furuhashi makes way for Ida. And we also get a 500 man coming on in the way of Jamesy Forrest to a rip-roaring ovation. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, at the end, we kick on and we put the final nail in the coffin, and it's McGregor again with an absolute rocket. And once again, we've got to mention the work rate. Maeda stealing the ball off McCausland, manages to thread it through to McGregor. And as he's become accustomed to, Rangers give him the freedom of the pitch. He marauds in, sidesteps to the left, and unleashes an absolute rocket. Again, I say it, Paul Lambert-esque. It takes a wee nick off a foot, but it doesn't change the direction of that ball, because that's getting in that net no matter what, mate. And what a goal.
Mate, it was an absolute screamer. For where I'm standing, we're looking right down on it as well. And again, you just seen the defence parted like the Red Sea. It just opened up, and like you say, on his left, unleashes this absolute rocket. Was that 3 for 3 for the big man?
Mate, adding numbers to his game, similar to first time under Rodgers, playing with that freedom.
Spoke about it as well. This month's goal of the month is just going to be a compilation of Callum McGregor's highlights, because he's been absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, what a month this guy's had. If he doesn't get played in a month, there's something wrong in there. He's been phenomenal. And do you know what? What a strike. The noise after that went in. I said before, after the second goal, the stadium was moving. So you can only imagine what it was like when that goal went in. The place just went absolutely tonto. It was beautiful. It was absolutely incredible. There was people in tears running about me. It was beautiful, mate. It was absolutely unreal.
Well, from there on, to wrap this match up, it's plain sailing. Rangers are deflated. They offer nothing. They're absolutely, they're dejected. They're all over the place. They've given up. They're dead in their feet, and they're just waiting for that final whistle to blow. They do get 2 chances, though. And Kasper Schmeichel, a man who's, he might as well have the deck chair out. It was such an easy day for him. But again, we talk about the class, what it takes to be a Celtic goalkeeper. When you are sitting there doing absolutely nothing to be able to turn it on in a split second, 2 saves almost immediately. In the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, first one is a decent hit. It's Tav trying to do what he always does, which is have an absolute garbage performance, but pop up with a goal that just puts a wee bit of gloss on and goes, "It's still scored, I done something like me." Yeah. Volley at the back post, big man pads that away, no bother. And then very late on, McCausland, the chap that looks as if he's had a haircut with a cold hard half brick, is a bit greedy, and he wants to try and slot one through, but like his old man, he stars himself, makes himself huge. Thou shall not pass. What a save. Keeps a clean sheet in, rubs a wee bit of salt into the wound, and makes sure that they go up the road with 0 positives to take away for that. Paddy, all over the back, a great performance. As we say, we've got a couple of the guys coming on. Aaron Engels, McCown. It was great to see. It was quite interesting. If you saw McCown, he was doing a lot of pointing, a lot of directing. I think maybe he forgot that he wasn't the captain anymore. But it was good to see that even just into the team, that he feels comfortable to orchestrate and tell his teammates, his new teammates that have got, all the trophies and experience to boot that he doesn't have, that he feels comfortable continuing where he left off, being himself. And that's only going to help us. Aaron Engels, too early to judge, looks tidy, looks comfortable, good tactical, taking one for the team, takes a yellow card. That's smart. But all in all, a good day at the office, mate,
Oh, it was phenomenal, mate. You spoke about Kasper. They 2 saves at the end when you've done literally nothing. I think Rangers' kind of first real chance was in the 77th minute, I think it was, I wrote down last night. Now that just shows you what the game was, what happened in it. that save that Casper made, the one you said, when he run out like his dad, making himself a big unit to stop young McCausland putting the ball into the back of the net. What a roar that got for the crowd. That's something that we've been waiting to see. It was nice to see Joe Hart there as well, to see his successor keep a clean sheet against them. That was nice to see. Like you said, Engels and McCowan and stuff coming on, absolutely brilliant. Is what the fans wanted to see. McCowan in there, a young guy making his boyhood dream, absolutely incredible. And do you know what? Fair play to the laddie. He looks decent. He looks as if he's going to be comfortable on the ball. Your man says there about Engels looking fast. He does look fast, and he had a wee chance as well when the ball got dinked over. And he's kind of running in towards Butland, but Butland gets there first. But he did a good turn of pace on him actually to kind of break the line and get through for it. So that's an exciting thing's coming. Really excited about this going forward.
Well, mate, I think we'll pretty much wrap it all up there. We've went nearly an hour, but let's just, before we do go, as we says at the start and as it says in the tagline, watershed win, watershed moment. It cemented it, and I think you can really tell how much this done by way of clearing up, removing any fog that there may well have been with some deluded minds, particularly in the punditry section of things. When you've got guys like Boyd, essentially, it was a glorious meltdown. I genuinely don't, all jokes aside, I don't think I've ever seen someone lose it so much. Maybe to Boyd's detriment. He is what he is. There's nothing wrong with having a leaning towards your team, as we see with Sutton and the likes, right? But he was literally like a fan down the pub. And the key points, a full meltdown. Rangers are nowhere near Celtic. Rangers are broken as a club from top to bottom. The gulf is huge. He starts ripping into Tavernier. He says Rangers are in a fight for second place at this rate, and he is growing tired of their manager's excuses. For him to come out with that is incredible. If we then look at the manager bumbling his way through, as we said many times jokingly at the start, the 10-minute trophy, the 10-minute treble, the two best shots in the first 10 minutes that actually were offside, and the 10 minutes of pressing. If that's your takeaway, hell mend you. Quality for 10 minutes, the quality for 10-minute trophy. He was asked what happened. Did the goal spook you? His answer was he didn't know, but he would need to try and find out. He was shell-shocked, and ultimately he got the wrong tactics, and that transcended through to some unsavoury scenes outside Ibrox. We've all seen the social media videos, the compilation. At first it's all jubilation and cheering away the team, Edmiston House for the match. That quickly turned. Hounding players getting out. Tavernier getting in an argument with a fan, almost near enough for square go material. It's fractured. And as it says, dogs and caravans, because that's the route he's going down. He's just bumbling. He's talking nonsense. We've heard about the ketchup bottle and all this stuff, all these crazy quips. He's very much, for me, at this moment in time, on course to go down the route of being Pedro Caixinha and a bald man mask. I'm actually just waiting when he's doing some of his interviews for, in some sort of Jeremy Beadle-esque situation, somebody in a big wig and glasses to come out and tell me it's all some sort of joke, or Mr. Bobby crashed through the barrier because it's all just a wind-up. But it isn't a wind-up. It's reality. This is their reality at this moment in time, mate. This can only help us.
It's madness, mate. You look at the levels, the different managers. See if he comes out and he goes, do you know what? We weren't up to that today. We struggled. We didn't appreciate the intensity. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. Blah, blah. Be honest about the game. Be honest about what you saw. Don't come out there and try and tell your fans who have watched the game that you had the same possession as Celtic, that you had the same chances as Celtic, that you were anywhere near Celtic, because they've got eyes. And if they're like us as well, they'll watch it as a fan, not with the green tinted glasses on. You'll watch it and you'll give your honest opinion on it. Their fans will do that as well. And they'll be watching that going, what is he talking about? And that's where this is coming from. That's why they're going down to the stadium going, listen, mate, what are you doing? Come out and tell us. If you were shite, you were shite. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. We do plenty to
Just
talk
come out
about.
and go, Joe, what, hands up, we get beat by the better team today. He's not doing that.
Nope. That's it. And that's the thing.
Brendan, as well, you look at Brendan. Sorry, I'm cutting you off here, but Brendan, you look at Brendan, he's using the key words. He's using all the key words. Brendan's saying about the power of going forward and the passing and the mentality and things like that. He's talking about what our team has. We are a proper team. Mm-hmm. They're not. They're nowhere near what we have. And that showed yesterday.
And same as well, just to touch on it finally, he mentioned, as you say, mentions about our bench. We said at the start, it's a flex. He's mentioning the amount of cash of players that could have been brought on. And even that shows you how much we are inside them. That shows you how much we're inside their heads, and that manager's head. That all he can think about after a defeat is to find excuses, but then point out how much more we have. Great place to be. Well, listen, it is just gone nearly an hour. I've actually got to get myself out towards Ibrox way because I've got a game of football at 12 o'clock. Do you like the top? It's a topper. It'll begin rolling and I'll head out there. So thank you very much. About 100 of you there in the chat. That's early in the morning. Absolutely love it. There's going to be plenty more content to come for ourselves. There's going to be plenty more as well. And as we say, if you want to keep the joy factor going on, it's not everybody's cup of tea. However, you might want to check that out because I'm sure there'll be a lot to be discussing on that very platform there as well. So anyway, once again, thanks to everybody for joining us. Thanks to all subscribers, all our new subscribers, all the support we've been getting. Absolutely love it. Keep it going. Help us grow the community. We love it. We appreciate it for everybody coming around. We'll be back in due course, as we always say here. Paddy, tell them until the next time they've got to take care of themselves, but more importantly,
hail.
See you all later.